Just took a bit longer to find my way home. Chapter 12. Patience is key. Sonic accepted the mug of hot tea that Maddie hands him. He feels guilt outweigh the fear he's still feeling. He knows both Tom and Maddie have work tomorrow. He knows this. Yet, here they are, sitting in the living room, helping him through his nightmare. He grips the mug just a bit tighter. Tom comes and drapes a blanket over his shoulders. Now he feels even worse. He lowers his head and begins to silently cry again.
Sonic, hun, what's wrong?
Maddie asks in a soft voice, gently rubbing his back. Her calming voice only makes him cry harder.
Bud, it's okay.
Tom says, coming to sit on his other side. Sonic greedily leans into Tom's side as the man wraps an arm around him. He doesn't deserve them.
Hey Sonic, look at me.
Tom says, using the blanket to wipe away a few tears. Sonic slowly looks up to meet the man's eyes.
I'd rather you wake us up than have you suffering alone. I don't want you to suffer.
Sonic sniffs.
Please, talk to us.
Maddie whispers, taking a hold of his hand, and Sonic spills.
I had a nightmare about the doctor finding me and bringing me back to his lab, and he took you guys, and maybe once he disassembled you and made you into his robot slaves, and then he made me fight you, and you guys hurt me, and he hurt me, and I hurt you, and...
Whoa, slow down.
Tom said, carefully placing the cup of tea down on the coffee table before it could spill from Sonic's shaking hands.
Doctor?
Sonic feels his heart stop and his eyes go wide in horror. One of the main things he wanted to keep secret was now out in the open because of his big stupid mouth.
You guys weren't supposed to know about that.
He murmurs. He quickly shuts his mouth again, realizing what he had just said.
Sonic?
Tom asks. His voice is firm, but he can hear and see the fear and concern in the man's voice and eyes. He radiates with worry.
You guys don't mind staying up a bit longer, do you?
We're already at.
Sonic nods and tries to think of a good place to start. He decides that ripping the bandage off and starting at the very beginning is the best way to do it.
I've been watching you guys in Green Hills for 10 years.
The room goes even more silent than before.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, that was bad. I shouldn't have said that either.
Sonic says, quickly curling into himself further.
Green Hills?
Sonic sighs and begins fiddling with his gloves.
When I first came to Earth, I landed in Green Hills, in the forest outside of town. That's where my cave is, and I just watched everyone. I couldn't interact with you all, but...
You're the Blue Devil?
Sonic manages a nervous smile, although it looks more like a grimace.
Surprise?
Crazy Carl was right.
More like super observant, Carl. Man, we would have fun.
Crazy to think that you were in the forest this whole time.
Yeah, anyway, when you guys moved away, something happened. It caused this sort of explosion, I think. But whatever it was, I attracted this man. He's a scientist, an evil scientist. He captured me before I could make my escape and kept me as his lab rat for, I don't know how long, at least a few months.
Sonic's breathing began to pick up pace.
Hey, if you don't want to talk, you don't have to. We understand.
Tom said quickly, holding Sonic's hand and squeezing. Tom and Maddie exchanged horrified glances. Just by Sonic's reaction and how he appeared when they first met was enough evidence to know that the doctor did horrible things to the poor hedgehog, who was 1 second away from a panic attack. They sat in silence for a bit, letting this new information settle. Sonic's breathing began to calm.
How are you feeling?
Not great. Don't feel like I'm going to pass out, though.
That's good. Baby steps.
Maddie said and grabbed the cup of tea from the coffee table, offering it to him. Sonic accepted the offered mug and took a few sips before letting it rest in his hands.
Anything else we should know about?
Now that he had told them about Green Hills and the doctor, it was only right he told them about his speed.
Well, I'm super fast.
Super fast?
Yeah, like over 500 miles per hour fast.
He watched Tom and Maddie's eyes widen.
That wouldn't have anything to do with the blue lightning, would it?
Sonic felt his heart drop and his blood run cold.
Oh, what blue lightning?
When we came to wake you up from your nightmare, there was blue lightning coming off your body. Is that normal?
Sonic felt the corners of his vision go dark as he stared at the mug of tea in his hands. He felt sick. If what Tom and Maddie said was true, then it was only a matter of time before Robotnik found him, and he would be dragged back to the lab, stuck in that metal room and forced to run and be cut open, and he couldn't go back. He didn't want to go back. Sonic couldn't go through all that again. He didn't want to run for hours at a time. He didn't want to be strapped down to a table as bright fluorescent lights shined above. He didn't want to be cut open and played around with as if he were a doll the evil scientists could break apart again and again. He didn't want to. He didn't want to.
That's it. Breathe. You're okay.
He heard Tom's voice break through the ringing in his ears. He blinked and noticed the mug of tea had once again been taken out of his trembling hands. He heard Tom and Maddie whisper reassurances, trying to ground him back to reality.
I'm okay.
Sonic.
That blue lightning, it's a part of my power. The doctor learned that they grow stronger and more powerful depending on the intensity of the emotions I'm feeling. I generate it when I run. The faster I run, the more lightning I generate also.
You make it sound like it's a bad thing. Is it a bad thing?
Sonic shot up and grabbed Tom by his shoulders.
It's a very bad thing. The doctor is able to track me wherever I am, whenever I use any of my power. He'll find me and drive me back to the lab.
Sonic. Look at me. Breathe. Sonic, breathe.
Tom said, trying to get the teen to calm down. Sonic let out a sob and let his head rest on the man's shoulder. Tom glanced at Maddie, pure in utter grief in both their eyes. Sonic was 13. He was a child. Alien or not, superpowered space hedgehog or not, he was still a child who implied to have been experimented on, who was terrified for his life because his torturer could now possibly track him and take him back. It left a bad taste in both their mouths. And at that moment, they both knew that they were going to protect this child that had fallen into their lives, who had known them for most of his life.
Sonic, can I touch you?
The hedgehog nodded. Tom wrapped his arms around the teen, his embrace firm yet gentle.
We won't let him get you. Not while you're with us, okay?
But I...
Not while you're with us.
Tom repeated. Maddie gently cornered her fingers through the quills on Sonic's head.
If he tries to take you, you have to go through us, okay?
Sonic peered up to meet Tom's eyes before looking over to meet Maddie's too.
You mean it?
Of course. We care about you, Sonic.
Sonic couldn't help but smile as Tom did the same.
Thanks, Donut Lord.
Maddie laughed at the name. Tom raised a brow in curiosity at the nickname, an amused grin on his face.
Donut Lord? Where'd that come from?
Back in Green Hills, he would talk to donuts and eat them if they got out of line.
Maddie laughed harder and Tom sighed.
I still do that, bud.
Sonic laughed along with Maddie.
Oh, don't laugh, Nance. You got a food-related nickname for her?
Tom asked, pointing at his wife.
Yeah, pretzel lady.
Now it was Tom's turn to chuckle as Maddie worked an eyebrow.
Pretzel lady?
Yeah, you do yoga, and you're like a pretzel when you do all those poses.
I see.
Crazy to imagine how you were there, in Green Hills, and we'd never noticed.
Tom said, leaning back against the couch, wrapping an arm around Maddie.
I was just really good at hiding.
Sonic leaned against Tom's chest, feeling his eyes droop. It wasn't long before he fell asleep to the sounds of Tom and Maddie's voices, luring him into a peaceful slumber. When Sonic woke up, it was quiet. He slowly opened his eyes. He was still on the couch. A blanket had been draped over him. However, Maddie and Tom weren't present. He sat up and looked around. He relaxed when he peered into the kitchen and saw Tom leaning against the counter, scrolling through his phone with what was no doubt a cup of coffee in hand. Sonic got off the couch and walked into the kitchen. Tom noticed him and smiled.
Hey, Sonic. How are you feeling?
Better.
Sonic said and hoisted himself up into a chair.
What would you like for breakfast?
Tom asked, putting his phone down.
Cereal's fine.
As Tom got him something to eat, Sonic messed around with the glove on his hand. He sucked in a deep breath.
Donut Lord?
He saw Tom's mouth quirk up in amusement.
Yeah, Sonic?
I'm sorry about how I was acting these past few days. I was upset and didn't know how to handle what I was feeling.
Tom handed him a bowl of cereal and gently ruffled the quills on Sonic's head.
No worries. You were going through a lot. Still going through a lot. Next time, just talk to us. That's what we're here for, okay?
Sonic smiled and nodded before taking a bite of his cereal.
By the way, where's Pizza Lady and Ozzy?
She's currently at work. She went to take Ozzy in for a checkup.
Are you not going to work today?
I'm currently on call duty. I only go in if they need me to.
Sonic nodded. Tom looked outside.
It's a nice day out today. How about after you finish breakfast, we can go see if the park is empty?
Really?
Absolutely.
Sonic began to eat faster in hopes to getting to the playground sooner. As soon as he finished his cereal and put his empty bowl in the sink, Tom's phone buzzed. He glanced at it and frowned.
Sorry, Sonic. We're going to have to put the trip to the park on hold. There's something going on.
Aw, man.
Tom quickly went to his room and got dressed in his uniform before walking back out to meet the upset hedgehog.
Hopefully, this won't be long. Could I trust you alone in the house for a little while?
You wound me, Tom. I am very responsible.
Whatever. If Maddie comes home from work before me, ask her if she can take you to the park. I'll meet you two there, okay?
Sonic rocks back and forth on his feet before nodding.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
He bends down, offering the hedgehog a fist bump.
I won't be gone long.
Sonic bumps his fist against Tom's.
Go kick some bad guy butt, Donut Lord.
Will do, Blue Devil.
And Tom leaves, leaving Sonic alone. As Tom drives down the streets of San Francisco, he'll admit that he's nervous about leaving Sonic alone. Not just because he's leaving a 13-year-old he had just met a little over 2 weeks ago in charge, but also, he has a bad feeling settling in his gut as he gets further and further away from the house. But he has no time to dwell on that. As he pulls over on the side of a busy street, he sees the captain talking into his radio as he stares up at the sky. Tom gets out and approaches the man. He's about to ask what is wrong when he sees it, and hears it. A whole fleet of white oval-shaped drones with red eyes beginning to make their way over the city of San Francisco. They fly in perfect lines as if they were migrating birds. That uneasy feeling from earlier comes back. Where are those drones heading? And who was controlling them? Back at the house, Sonic busied himself by flicking through Tom's binder of baseball cards again. He smiled as he looked through each card, admiring them. He was brought out of his thoughts by a knock on the front door. Sonic's face scrunched up in confusion as he looked at the door. He couldn't see anyone outside from where he was sitting. Tom had gone out for that call and Maddie was at the vet with Ozzy. And if it were Tom and Maddie, they wouldn't have knocked. Sonic put the binder down and slowly approached the front door, feeling uneasy. Suddenly, the door was thrown off its hinges. Sonic yelped in surprise and quickly dodged the oncoming door. He looked behind and winced as it broke through a wall. He's pretty sure he had heard a bunch of other stuff break too.
What did I say? Patience is key.
A horrifyingly familiar voice boasts from where the front door used to be. Sonic feels as if time slows as he slowly turns to face the man he had been desperately trying to hide from. Robotnik smirks. He, no doubt, has his robots surrounding the perimeter of the house.
Robotnik?
That's my name. Now, we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. You can either come with me quietly without harm coming to your human friends, or you can refuse. But your suffering will be prolonged and you will never see the light of day again. And there's always the possibility of your precious humans getting hurt.
Sonic takes a nervous step backwards. Robotnik takes a large step forward.
Come quietly and I promise no harm will come to your friends.
Sonic narrows his eyes at the man.
I won't go back with you. I'm not a weapon. I'm not some experiment. I'm a living being, Robotnik. I have feelings too. I finally remember what it feels like to be loved. After 10 years of isolation and 6 months of pure torture, I won't let you take me away again. Not that easily.
I figured you would say something sappy and completely laughable. However, I always plan ahead.
Robotnik pushed a button on his glove and a drone floated down next to him.
I did a little bit of research on my way here, Hedgehog.
The drone projected a holographic picture of Tom and Maddie.
Thomas Wachowski and his wife Madison Wachowski both used to live in Green Hills, Montana before moving here 6 months ago. What a coincidence! That's where I found you.
Don't you dare even think about hurting them.
Only if you make me, rodents. What'll it be?
Sonic bit his lip as conflicted feelings swirled in his chest.
If that isn't enough for you.
Robotnik pressed another button and a hatch on the robot opened up. He pulled out a small red backpack. Sonic froze, recognizing what it was.
I'll even let you hold this on the ride back to the lab.
No, I won't go back.
You really want to put your friends in danger?
You're bluffing.
Hedgehog, you should know by now that I don't make bluffs. I mean all of my threats, just like this next one. If you don't come with me now, I'll simply blow this house up. I'll get your friends and make them watch. And you can tell them yourself that it could have all been avoided if you had just listened.
Robotnik?
Make your choice now, Hedgehog.
The mad scientist shouts as another hatch of the drone opens and the doctor pulls out a bomb. Sonic felt his heart begin to run a marathon in his chest. He felt like he was going to vomit and pass out. He wanted to move. He should do something, but he felt stuck where he was standing. Fear glued him to the floor.
Time is running out.
Wait!
It's now or never. Decide, Hedgehog. The lives of your friends or your life.
Sonic let out a sob and fell to his knees.
All right, I'll go. Just please don't hurt them.
It was silent for far too long before Robotnik hummed and threw the bomb up and down as if it were a ball.
Wise decision.
More drones filtered into the hallway and surrounded him. Metal arms came out of the sides of the drones and clamped around his wrists. Despite them looking awfully thin, their grips were iron strong.
Come on, Hedgehog.
And the drones followed Robotnik as they left the house. Sonic felt sicker as he saw neighbors peeking out of their front doors and bystanders watching. Some were recording the altercation. Some were whispering and gossiping. Some were trying to get close enough to see without possibly getting hurt. But they all stared at him. Some with fear, some with curiosity, and even some with disgust. But Tom and Maddie weren't here, and despite the many people present, he felt so alone.
I don't want to hear a single word out of your mouth, rodent. We're going back to the lab.
Sonic began to panic. He tried to fight against the drones holding him. He didn't want to go back there. Sonic narrowed his eyes at the evil doctor. Sparks danced across his fur. He had once thought his power was a curse, for getting Longclaw killed, for causing him to be caught by the doctor and used as a lab rat. But if he was going to escape, he needed to face his fears and stop seeing his power as a curse, but as what it truly was, his power. So he let the electricity dancing along his fur spread to the robots until they were fried and released him. The robots fell with a loud clang. He heard the many gasps and exclamations from the bystanders. Robotnik turned to face the hedgehog with a murderous glare. With all the strength Sonic could muster, he managed a brave smirk as he winked at Robotnik before taking off at the speed of sound.